Welcome back to the 2003 EA Sports Madden Challenge Championship. We're ready to crown this year's champ, and now Rossi Morreale is down on the floor with this year's winner.
You're the #1 Madden player in the country, and you just won 50 grand. Just tell me how it feels.
It's awesome. I mean, it's just a great feeling, you know, for it all to finally come together and for me to win it.
You came out in the second half and blew him out like he wasn't even there. What did you do different? What did you change? What did he change? What happened in the second half that made it such a blowout?
Exactly like I said before, I wasn't going to change anything. I was just not, he was just getting away from my guys. I mean, everything I was doing was working, so I did the same thing. And in the second half, my players were getting to his quarterback, so, you know, it was as easy as that. I knew I was going to stop him eventually. Eventually, the stops are going to come.
All right, I'm now joined by Big Gene. Big Gene, man, what happened?
I got up. I played him for like 3 times before. He never, ever stopped me one possession.
Yeah.
I was being disrespectful in the second half because I didn't respect him on defense. And he played a better game than me. He D'd up, man. He stopped me a few times, and that's where I lost the game.
Well, there you have it. David Sandman Sychek is the 2003 EA Sports Madden Challenge champion, and most important, he's $50,000 richer. Guys, your thoughts on this big game?
He absolutely earned every penny of that money, and really, Charles, he knew this before we even stepped into the building today. I thought Big G might be able to come up with some big defense. He did early on, but I think the second half really got a little bit too cocky. He got a little bit too ahead of himself. He didn't play his game he played the first half. He got locked into this kind of, I gotta score now, and really put himself in a real tough position to come back from.
Oh, yeah. I like to commend both ballers because they put a great performance together here. But like I knew, Sandman is the best baller in the country right now. And if anybody out there doubted Sandman, he made them a believer today. His game is stifling, and he is definitely worthy of being the champion of the EA tournament.
Well, that's going to do it here from the House of Blues at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. For Charles Smith and Scott Rubin and Rossi Morreale, I'm Jim Murray, and we'll see you at next year's Madden Challenge Championship.
All the homeboys in the house.
Hi, I'm Corey Rouse. Now, Final Fantasy X became an instant classic when it was first unleashed on the PS2. In fact, one of Cheat's first episodes was dedicated to this epic RPG. Well, since then, we've been inundated with requests from new viewers and first-time FF10 gamers who need help on this wickedly hard game. Well, by special request, we bring you a remix of a Cheat classic, where you'll learn to dance with the lightning bolts, become an expert chocobo racer, and conquer the monsters of Spira. But that's only on this Final Fantasy X Greatest Hits edition of Cheat. Hello, I'm Corey Rouse, and this is Cheat, your new best friend. This is the show that gives you the tips, tricks, hints, and strategies for your favorite games. And this week, we're going to give you all the above for one of the biggest games of the year, Final Fantasy X on the PlayStation 2. The Final Fantasy series debuted on the original Nintendo Entertainment System in 1990 and quickly grew to popularity with the role-playing game fans. Now, since then, the game franchise has grown into a worldwide phenomenon. The newest game in the series, Final Fantasy X, pushes the limits of the PlayStation 2's hardware and puts your RPG skills to the test in one of the best adventures yet. That's why we're dedicating this episode to covering what you, the fans, have picked as some of the toughest spots in the game. Now, Cheat has teamed up with Squaresoft to find out what those choke points are. From secrets to strategies, we're going to make you into a Final Fantasy master. But first, for those of you unfamiliar with the game, or even those who practically live in it, let's take a tour of the world of Spira and the cast of characters that inhabit the game. Final Fantasy X is the latest game in the popular RPG series from Squaresoft. With a unique cast of heroes, villains, monsters, and striking visuals, Final Fantasy X lives up to the epic status that its predecessors have earned for the game series. In the game, humanity is on the verge of destruction by a powerful force known only as Sin. Players take on the role of Tidus, a teenage player of a futuristic sport called Blitzball. Tidus joins a group of heroes on a quest to save the world of Spira from Sin. The game features a unique battle system that improves upon the idea of turn-based fighting used by most RPGs. Players can improve their abilities and magical powers as they advance through the game with the Sphere Grid, which is a new addition to the Final Fantasy play system. Featuring countless hours of playability, side quests, leveling up, a nearly impossible-to-beat ending, and learning to play the sport Blitzball, Final Fantasy X lives up to the challenging nature created in the Final Fantasy game series. Now that you've learned about the world of Spira, it's time to get to the fighting. One of the toughest battles for gamers is definitely the boss battle with Evrae, a flying fiend who's stopping you from enjoying the skies in your sweet airship. You'll have to do some evasive air maneuvers and fight the ugly brute, which can be tough. But we got some secrets to success. Now just remember, this is pretty deep in the game, so avert your sensitive eyes if you don't want a spoiler on this one.
The guardian worm, Evrae. The great sacred beast, protector of Bavel.
Oh, great. Just what you need. Interrupted by a really big dragon.
The red carpet has teeth.
Yes, Auron. Big, sharp, nasty teeth. Can't we just keep going and maybe it will leave us alone?
We're gonna fight that thing!
Oh, all right, if we must. It's fighting time. First order of business, set your party's fighting order. Then, all hands on deck. Battle stations! Battle stations! Using your physical characters like Tidus, Auron, and Riku is best when the fiend is near your ship. Evrae cuts all magical damage inflicted on itself by half, so Lulu will be mostly ineffective in this fight, unless she has her third-level elemental spells.
Y'all have to tell me when to move!
Oh yeah, we forgot to tell you. You have to help Sid pilot the airship during the battle.
But tell me quick, huh? This rig ain't so nimble, you hear?
Roger, I'll give the command.
Not alone, you won't.
Fun, huh? Just watch for when Tidus or Riku's turns come right before Sid's. Use your trigger command to pull the ship away from Evrae. The first thing you should do to come out on top in this battle is cast the most powerful version of the slow spell you have on the monster. This will delay its attacks. Next, cast haste on yourself and your fighting party. This will increase the number of turns they can attack during the battle. Evrae is a very tough boss character. This will not be an easy battle. Have Wakka cast his Darkbuster spell. That makes it harder for the beast to see you and lowers its attack accuracy. Make sure to use your overdrive attacks like Tidus's Spiral Cut whenever possible. As the battle progresses, Evrae will cast haste on itself to counter your slow spell. Keep casting slow on Evrae and haste on your fighting party members to keep the balance of power with you. During its attack, Evrae will inhale in one turn, then exhale a poison attack on its next. Don't go into this fight without plenty of potions to counter the deadly gas. The beast will at some point pull back from the airship. Wakka's powerful Blitzball attack will come in handy now. Keep up the fight using slow spells on the creature, haste spells on your party, and eventually you will get the upper hand on Evrae. And there will be much rejoicing. Yeah, right. What he said. We've gotten you through a brutal boss, but now it's time for one of the toughest secrets in the game. You wouldn't have Final Fantasy without some super secret weapons, and in the case of 10, it's the legendary weapons. But getting your grubby hands on them involves finding the mysterious Cloudy and Celestial Mirrors. That's where we come in. To get the Cloudy Mirror, gamers must visit the Rimium Temple in the Calm Lands. Here, talk to the Chocobo. Yes, I said talk to the Chocobo. It will then let you race down the spiraling track beneath the temple. If you win the race, you'll also win the Cloudy Mirror. Seems easy enough, right? That's only one step. After obtaining the Cloudy Mirror, you must transform it into a more powerful and frankly cooler sounding Celestial Mirror. To make the transformation from so-so reflective piece of glass to cool sounding reflective piece of glass, you must return to the Macalania Woods. Start by talking to the mother and son near the Save Sphere in the southern part of the Macalania Woods. The woman will tell you that she is waiting for her husband. Go to the Macalania Woods campsite and talk to the man to the right. Yes, you win your very own Chocobo if you guess that this is the husband who is keeping his wife waiting. Tell him where to meet up with his family and return to Macalania Woods South. Near the Save Sphere, you will find a magical glowing path of pretty colors. I think we should walk across it. When you come to an intersection, look both ways and yield to traffic to your right. Seriously, head north till you see a boy standing near a large crystal. Talk to the boy and use the cloudy mirror on the crystal. Presto, changeo, nothing up my sleeve, and poof! You have transformed it into the Celestial Mirror. Anyone who hasn't bothered to do this with their mirrors yet should know the Celestial Mirror is the key you need to obtain your adventurer's legendary weapons. Is it worth all that trouble just for some cool legendary weapons? It depends on how much of a collector you are. It may not stop you from beating the game, but just think how much cooler Kimahri would look holding a Spirit Lance. All right, when we come back from the break, we're going to delve into even more secrets here on Final Fantasy X. Learn how to race chocobos in a time of nothing flat, dodge those annoying lightning bolts, and get all the secret passwords for the airship. Only on Cheat! Welcome back to Cheat. I'm Corey Rouse. We're deep into our special Final Fantasy X edition of Cheat. We've actually teamed up with Squaresoft to give you an inside scoop on how to get through the toughest parts of the game.
I've heard a lot of people kind of dislike Blitzball. My only advice is keep playing it until you win your first game.
The strategy to Blitzball is if you get the chance to recruit some good players. You have a chance after a certain point in the game to go around and actually recruit some players and figure out if they'll be the ones you want to have on your team. And then at that point, I think the best thing to do is try to get your team to level up and doing a lot of passes, just working on the fundamentals of the game.
Blitzball is really, really fun. Just sort of keep plugging away until you win your first game, and you have all the motivation to better your team. The biggest thing about Blitzball is pretty much the big secret in Blitzball is that brother, the Al-Bhed, who's Riku's brother, who pilots the airship, best player in the game. As soon as I won my first game, I couldn't get off of it. It was 60 games later, and I got the item. The reason I started playing Blitzball in the first place was to get the sigil for Wakka's ultimate weapon.
You know, believe it or not, you can actually, contrary to what you get in the storyline in the game, you can actually recruit Wakka. And though he says that he's going to retire and does retire, there's a point later on in the game where if you do get a chance to talk to him, you get to recruit him, and he's a good guy to have, of course.
Trust me, win your first game, you won't be able to get off of it.
Of course, things aren't nearly as hard in FF10 if you've got the right spells and weapons under your belt. The question is, just how to get the best toys for your heroes? Well, the answers lie within some of the more mind-bending puzzles hidden in the game. You've probably noticed when you've been leveling up your characters that all the best spells are hidden under those pesky level 4 locks on the sphere grid. Well, how can your life be complete without those delicious Ultima spells? And how do you get yourself a set of those rare little keys? Look no further than your handy-dandy Cheat Locksmith. Ah, what a nice day for a jog through the grasslands of Spira. Not a care in the world, just you and nature and... a pair of really ugly monsters! I hate it when that happens. Okay, so it's a nice day for a fight against a pair of chimera brains in the grasslands of Spira. Let's get them, guys. Wait a second, though. Set the testosterone aside for this encounter. In this fight, you should use your brains, not brawn. In this instance, the brain is letting one of the ladies take center stage.
Take him. Leave us alone, okay?
You need to use Riku's bribe ability to pay off the chimera brains. There is a point to this tactic. If you bribe each of the creatures with 196,000 gil, they turn their snaky tails and run. We tried to figure out the exchange rate for 196,000 gil, but trust us, you're getting a bargain when you see the result. After Riku bribes both beasties, you win the battle. Your reward? a pair of level 4 key spheres needed to unlock your character's most powerful spells and abilities on the sphere grid. You've unlocked a cheat. Bonus stage.
Overall, just to try to get through and play through the game well, it's important to really take care of your sphere grid. And what I mean by that is you'll get spheres in the game that allow you to level up your characters. With these spheres, and each time you level up, you can apply them to the sphere grid so that you can continue to level up your characters and get them to learn abilities and such. By doing that, and each time you get a new sphere, each time you level up and you continue to implement them into your sphere grid, your characters will pretty much be on par with the rest of the enemies throughout the game.
So you've got the Celestial Mirror and you're ready to start collecting your legendary weapons. But just one little glitch. To use all the weapons' full powers, you're gonna have to get 2 power-up items for every character. And to get Lulu's, you're gonna have to dodge 200. Yes, 200 lightning bolts into Thunder Plains. Looks like it's time to ride the lightning. Whoever said lightning never strikes the same place twice obviously hasn't played Final Fantasy X. As your quest leads you through an area known as the Thunder Plains, your characters will have to dodge a barrage of lightning bolts. Prizes are awarded for dodging the static discharges. One of the most challenging tasks in the game is dodging 200 consecutive lightning strikes. Why must you do this, you may ask? Well, if you don't, you can become a backup generator for a Las Vegas casino. Actually, it's the only way to obtain the Venus Sigil. You must have this item to obtain Lulu's legendary weapon later in the game. To dodge the lightning, press the X button when the screen flashes. This gives you a split second to dodge the bolt. The problem is random encounters with monsters make it impossible to dodge 200 strikes. To successfully accomplish this task, you must equip the No Encounters ability. This keeps the fiends away from you as you dodge the lightning. You need to obtain 30 units of the very rare Purifying Salt to equip this ability. As you try to avoid becoming a lightning rod, we recommend you hit pause and take a break every so often.
I really recommend taking at least a break every 10 or 15 minutes of doing that. And unfortunately, you can't just leave and save your game, because if you do that, you actually are resetting the entire side quest. You can actually hit pause, walk away, take a break, come back, and continue counting on from that point.
A little patience goes a long way in the Thunder Plains. Now that you've built up a sweat trying to get Lulu's Venus Sigil, it's time for us to hit pause for a little break too. When we come back, we'll dive even deeper into Final Fantasy X. Get ready to master the Chocobo race, grab the passwords for the airship, and maybe even learn a few codes to make your cheating heart happy. Only on Cheat. Hey, will you go to prom with me? Oh no, you are so hairy. Welcome back to Cheat. I'm your head cheatarian, Corey Rouse. We're doing an all Final Fantasy X edition of the show, and we've already helped you get past bosses like Evray, unlock the secret to level 4 key spheres, and even taught you how to dodge lightning bolts. But now it's time to get dirty. Once you've got the airship in the game, you'll notice that you have the ability to input specific passwords to access hidden areas of the world map. You can find passwords by deciphering the secret Al Bhed messages hidden around Spira, or you could just do it the cheat way and get some juicy codes from us. Getting around the world of Final Fantasy X is made much easier when traveling in the airship. After heading to the bridge and talking to Cid, you'll be able to travel anywhere in Spira just by pointing to it on the world map. Yes, ladies and gamers, you too will be sitting pretty as you ride along in style in your very own Final Fantasy X airship. Come down to Corey's Airships and fly away in yours today. Some equipment shown optional, mileage may vary. As you travel in the airship, you may notice places on the map that you can't reach no matter what you try. We've got something for you better than a global positioning system, though. The secret passwords to get to the 3 secret areas on the map. You can enter these passwords with the input feature in the airship's command list. These passwords are found in the game, but are written in the Al Bhed language. If your translating skills aren't up to par, let us help you. The first password is God Hand. It will let you reach the ravine below Mushroom Rock Road. Riku's legendary weapon can be found here. The second password is Victorious. Entering it will open the secret location at the Besaid Ruins. Here you'll be able to obtain Riku's Victorious Armor, which repels 3 kinds of elemental attacks. The last password is Murasame. This also opens a secret locale in the Besaid Ruins where you will find Orin's Murasame, giving him the 1 MP cost ability. You can travel to secret areas with your fancy airship, but everyone knows that the cool kids race chocobos. The chicken-like animals are the mascots of the Final Fantasy universe, and in Final Fantasy X, they'll even get you some big prizes. Well, that is if you learn how to race them correctly. Well, lucky for you, we got some racing tips straight from the pros. Of all the creatures of the world of Final Fantasy X, at least one is friendly towards you. The chocobos are a race of birds. During the game, players will find themselves with the opportunity to become a chocobo trainer. Don't mock this seemingly benign side quest. It's one of the choke points giving many Final Fantasy X gamers chocobo-sized headaches. Your goal after going through the first 3 levels of training is to get a perfect time of 0 in a race against the chocobo trainer. Yes, this sounds almost as ridiculous as Carrot Top winning Best Actor, but it can actually be done.
It's got to be one of the toughest parts of the game. I can tell you now, you're probably not going to get it right the first time. It takes a lot of luck.
There's no real trick or easy way to get the perfect score. You simply must run a perfect race against the trainer, avoiding all blitz balls and birds that come at you. Players also need to grab balloons as you race. Each balloon subtracts 3 seconds from your race time. You must also collect enough balloons to knock your score down to 0.
If you can do that after hopefully 30 minutes, I think you'll nail it just right.
The reward for a time of nothing flat? Tidus will receive the Sun Sigil. It's required to activate his legendary weapon, the Khalid Bolg. Again, a seemingly innocuous challenge that some gamers may pass over, but it is essential to winning the game.
You unlocked a cheat. Bonus stage.
The numerous side quests in Final Fantasy X will often be linked together with a common end. A pair of our viewer requests are linked too. One viewer is having trouble battling Seymour on Mount Gagazet, while another is having trouble catching butterflies. How could these possibly be linked? The end result of both of these help you get power-ups for Kimahri's Spirit Lance.
Spirits of the Ronso.
One of these power-ups is the Saturn Sigil. You obtain this item by beating the Butterfly Catcher minigame. This is actually not that hard to do. You can go on your butterfly hunt in 2 different areas in the Macalania Woods. You must simply memorize where you find each of the blue butterflies. Catching all 7 without touching the red ones will give you the first power-up item. Keep searching if you can't find all the blue butterflies. The hardest part of this sequence is battling Seymour on Mount Gagazet. When you beat him, you'll find the Saturn Crest. This is the second power-up item for Kimahri's Spirit Lance and ties together these different viewer requests. The villain with the angular hairdo will put up quite a fight. Your best bet will be to try different combinations of spells on your fighting party and against Seymour. Casting Hastega will speed up your attacks, while Yuna's Protect spell will help against Seymour's attacks. He will tend to cast Dispel on you, so you will likely have to continue recasting these spells throughout the battle. Seymour follows a pattern of going after characters individually until he beats them. He will alternate between Lance of Atrophy and Full Life. You will only have a turn between these, so Holy Water will help the character, as will casting Silence on Seymour so he can't cast spells. Seymour will continue with even more powerful attacks as the battle continues. Mega Potions will help your characters bounce back quickly. Once he tries his Total Annihilation attack, start unleashing your Aeons against him. There's no one easy way to win this battle against the villain of Seymour, so you will need an element of luck to win the battle as well. No one said it was going to be easy. It wouldn't be a Final Fantasy game if it was.
Just go through it at a good sort of slow pace. Find a new area, fight a few monsters for a good amount of time, and just keep going. And don't stay too long. Don't try and race through the game. That never works. Racing through the game never works. So it's actually more of a challenge to get through a game at low levels than it is to just sort of go through at a normal pace.
Secrets in the game. You know, there are a lot of points in the game where if you don't take the time to talk to a lot of the characters that you come across in villages, you'll miss out on a few items. So for example, if you go to a town early in the game and you decide to go through the town and then leave when you're done with that part of the mission, you might miss out on a place where you can go and speak to somebody at the item shop and acquire like a special item.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's show. This is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of secrets in Final Fantasy X. Be sure to watch upcoming episodes of Cheat for even more choke points and tips for beating this epic game. If you want a complete guide to conquering the world of Spira, make sure to check out the official strategy guide from Brady Games. And make sure to drop us a line at g4tv.com/cheat if you're stuck in FF10 or any other game. Who knows? Maybe the answer will even appear on a future episode of the show. This is Coy Rouse saying, remember, if life's got you down, throw it into God mode and keep kicking butt. We'll see you next time on Cheat.